r/ask Reddit. What's the cruelest prank you've ever seen? Friend of mine had a crush on his coworker. It was sort of an open secret. His manager tried to help him, offered advice, some things to say, small gifts she might be into, etc. What no one knew at the time was that said manager and said coworker had recently started dating and hadn't told anyone yet. So he meant it as a prank on his new girlfriend to be put into these awkward situations. But my friend's feelings were really hurt when it all came out. Whoa, that is some class AA Hillary right there. Emo if the manager was dating a co-worker whom he supervised, along with actively engaging in this type of shenanigans, he should be fired, or at the very least demoted. A group of girls at my high school told a girl that they were hanging out at one of their houses at 9 near a train station, but they really just made up a time and place that would make her stranded at the last train stop with no more trains home. In the spirit of cruel revenge, she should have gotten her mom to call each of those girls and say, "Name, didn't come home today. She said she was meeting with you. Do you know anything?" To be really cruel, get mom to say you were the last person to see her and the police want to talk to you. In middle school, a girl came up to us on the playground and told this dude to go see the principal. "He's looking for you. He got a call that your mom died." Then as soon as the dude ran away, she told us all she just made it up. It was ducking horrible. I feel like the girl wouldn't have a lot of friends after this. Yep, she went from one of a clique of popular girls to pretty much an outcast. It was like days before graduation anyhow, so I didn't really see a big fallout from it. But the guy was pretty messed up as a result, at least for that last bit I knew him. Saw a guy tip over the porta potty with someone in it. That memory is clear. I think it was his GF. Probably wasn't after that. LOL. I wilder dumped him faster than he dumped all those dumps on me. A friend of a friend in high school had her boyfriend pretend that he'd died. He had one of his friends call her saying he had died in a car accident and had someone else calling up pretending to be a doctor from the hospital. She was hysterical. Later that day, after she kept asking the fake doctor which hospital it was so she could be there, she found out it was all prank to see if she cared. Horrible. Anyway, they broke up. To this day it's the nastiest prank I've seen in person. Had a friend do that too. To this day, I don't trust him when he says he had health issues, because he had us all worried sick for weeks, saying he was having heart surgery on X day, the day off. I woke up to find a post on his socials from his dad saying that he died, that he was so scared before going under and now he wanted one last message. April Fools. I was so angry. Actually, no one was laughing cause this was not a short message, it was 5 paragraphs long and I was crying when I got to the message. I still don't fully trust him and honestly remembering it makes me even angrier. As someone who had their best friend die in a car accident when we were teenagers, stuff like this really brings my piss to a boil. That should be a crime. Someone asked a guy to be her boyfriend. He said yes and the next day she invited all her friends to tell him that she did it as a joke. This happened to me. I got the courage to ask her out. "Junior, hi," and she said yes. I took her to a movie and asked her if she wanted to be boyfriend-girlfriend, and again, she said yes. She carried on like we were dating, saying things like "I'm so happy we're finally together." The girl would walk around holding my hand in school and I was in heaven. I couldn't have been happier at that moment in my life because I was dating my dream girl. All the popular dudes would snicker when we walked by, but I didn't care because I was too happy. A week or so went by and she was laughing when she said it was just a joke. I have never been so devastated. Edit. Thanks for all the kind words. Just to update on what happened down the road. Years later, karma caught up to my then fake girlfriend. She got really into heroin and skanked out a bit. She did end up pulling it together, but not until she fell well outside the popular pool. As for me, I did have trust issues for quite some time, even through college. But now, I'm very happily married to a wonderful woman who has never treated me wrong, and I couldn't be happier. For all of you who have had posted similar issues, I guess we share a hard lesson in life. People can be shitty, but in the long run, they just turn into good Reddit post fodder. Keep your heads up. Shittiness aside, that's a lot of commitment to just a joke. prank war going on in between two houses that were next to each other in San Diego, ca circa 2014. My cousin lived in one of the houses and this happened when I went to visit him a few years back. House number 1 pulled a prank that led to a member in house number 2 being late for his first day of work. Open bracket. It was collateral damage but the guy ended up getting fired for it. Guy who lost his job came home furious. He then took a 15-pound medicine ball and painted it to look just like a soccer ball. He tossed the medicine ball into the front yard of house number 1 and waited. When he saw the guy come out of the house he yells, "Hey Josh, can you kick that ball back over here?" Dude proceeds to take a running start and square up and kick the soccer ball with every ounce of strength he had. Poor bastard went down almost immediately in tears and screaming. Ended up breaking 3 bones in his right foot. Just brutal. And this is when the pranks ended and became attacks. I'm just guessing. My ex-friend thought it was a funny prank to kill my brother's hamster and tie it up and dress it in ridiculous ways. I remember reading somewhere, probably on Reddit, that someone as a kid had a friend over who was a compulsive liar and was trying to convince him he had super speed. To prove it he said he was going to throw Arp's hamster as hard as he could and then go catch it before it hit the wall. Needless to say, a few seconds later OP is standing there shocked as his hamster was flattened against the wall and immediately died. The kid apparently tried to play it off but when the mother came up and saw what happened she told him to leave and that he wasn't allowed to come back. I genuinely think we really need to watch out for kids like this. Kids that care more about being funny and impressing other kids than about the life of an innocent creature. Either they genuinely don't know that it's wrong to kill things, which is horrifying, or they do know but care more about themselves, which is also horrifying. Like Mike Tyson's new documentary when the bully killed his pigeon and he beat his ass, something serious. When I was a kid, somehow my classmates found it funny to piss in other people's cans of soda. I did not have a good childhood. Dear God, where did you grow up? The gulags? Middle class America, dude. I was once prank called by someone, a classmate presumably, and they told me they were going to kill my best friend who was in the same class as me. It was really ducking weird. The school never figured out who it was. They just asked if my friend had any enemies. Bro, we are 11? TBH, I had far more enemies at 11 than I do as an adult. Kids are a-holes sometimes. I have 0 enemies at 27 and had at least 4 or 5 at age 11-18. Kids are definitely a-holes. In 6th grade I opened my locker and a note from the boy I had a crush on fell out saying he liked me too. A bunch of girls in my grade were there when I found it and were super happy for me. Or I thought they were. When I went to the boy to ask him about it he said he didn't write it and the group of girls who were there when I found the note had written it. I turned around and sure enough they're laughing. But it crushed me. Not that the boy didn't like me back but because I didn't think these girls I'd gone to school with since 1st grade were that mean. A couple weeks later the group played a similar joke on one of the girls who was actually in on the prank against me, and I got a genuine apology from her after she realized how bad I must have felt. None of the other girls ever apologized. Edit. This comment blew up more than I thought it would have. Thank you for the awards. Much appreciated. Duck them beaches. Happened to me. Was at my first school dance in middle school. Was always the shy kid. So I was surprised when one of the popular chicks came to ask me to dance. I said no because I was shy, but I was elated that I got asked. A few minutes later I'm in the bathroom stall and a few kids come in and start talking about how they paid her $10 to ask me, and if I said yes she would have just tripped me and made me look dumb. I never went to another dance all throughout middle and high school, even prom. On the bright side you said no, which kind of made her look dumb, lol. She's probably still trying to find you on Reddit and get back at you. Watch out. In high school, someone made a pipe bomb and sneakily threw it into a metal trash can. One of my friends unknowingly walked by when it exploded and blew out his eardrum. The trash can looked like a peeled banana afterward. That person was ratted out and expelled. Edit. Kid was arrested afterwards. Saw him 10 years later working at a car wash. All of this happened in 1997. I feel like this is one of those cases that crosses the line from prank to terrorism. A fine line that's easy to miss. I have no idea what radio station this was on as I was only a kid. but they used to do prank phone calls. I have little to no recollection of many of them except this one, as even as a kid I could tell it was just wrong. The radio host rang up a woman and advised that he was the manager of her husband's company and he was very sorry to tell her that he had been involved in an accident with some heavy machinery and it had resulted in his death. As you would expect, the woman was beside herself with being told her husband had just died. She was wailing on the phone and the radio host couldn't really get another word in to explain it was a joke. And then they just cut off the phone call and played a song. Even as a kid I knew it was a really stupid and cruel idea. And I'm pretty sure that was the last time they did a prank phone call. Deep voice, hey, you just got pranked by Wacky and Steve on 96. 1. That is nasty, but your mom seems nice. Nice mom. Would son again. This happened to me. 7th grade during Valentine's Day we had candygrams and cutesy stuff we could send to our friends, and obviously middle schoolers are sending them to their crushes. They would receive these candygrams during a class period as someone came by dropping them off. You could write a little message and then who it's from. I got one from this guy friend I liked and went up to him the next period and brought it up and said it was really cute and thanks. He looked a little confused but was like no problem. I felt kind of dumb after that and walked away, just to find out the next day that it was one of my friends who sent it to me and just put his name on it to make it seem like it was him. I mean, at least he was nice enough to go along with it because he was just as confused. We used to have these in my junior high too. I got my first and final one in the 8th grade. It was from my math teacher. And none for Gretchen Whiners. Bye. Seen a video of two small girls. One told the other to look at the doorknob really close as it distorts your face. She then slammed the door right into her face, hitting her teeth. For your information, if you're missing teeth, as 8-9-year-olds tend to, it's really ducking easy to break shiny new adult teeth. Source: a large dental bill. r/kids era king evil. When they gave that raccoon the cotton candy, bastards. For context to anybody who doesn't know, raccoons apparently wash their food before eating it, and these guys gave a raccoon a piece of cotton candy and the raccoon washed it for it to disappear into the water. This is one cruel world we live in. It's sad, but they gave the raccoon multiple pieces, and on the 3rd or 4th piece it didn't wash it, so he got a nice snack in the end. My so-called friends had my mom drop me off at a mall and we hang out until nearing my bedtime. Mind you, this was back when there were pagers. For the generation that grew up with smartphones. Back before cell phones were something everyone had there used to be a pager. So I asked my friends when we are going back home cause my mom has talked to their mothers about someone dropping me off home. My parents both worked. Anyways, they decided to tell me that their mom will pick them up from this door and I should go ahead of them. They left and I was a 12-year-old lost kid in a mall with no parent. Luckily one of the male school bullies saw me and was like, "Oh, I nerd, what were you doing late?" and I just broke down crying. Kid just dropped the bullying and went, "Oh I what happened?" and according to my parents I just blabbered everything IJT and he told me to wait till he found a phone and paged my dad while calling his mom and telling her what happened. Needless to say, they got a frantic father going, "What the hell happened?" and the girls said they told their mom that I saw my uncle and left with him. But to be honest, me and the bully became best of friends. Edit. My parents thought I was kidnapped when they called my uncle, who said he hasn't been on shift in that area. That was an awesome character development there. This went in a surprisingly wholesome direction. The first time I met my brother's new girlfriend, she pulled me aside and started crying. She told me that she was pregnant, but my brother wasn't ready to tell anyone. She asked me to check up on him cause he was really nervous. A couple days go by and I texted her to see how she was doing and if my brother was doing okay and if they needed anything. She asked me what I was talking about. I said the baby. She replied, "Oh, you believed me. I was only joking. I'm not pregnant. I can't believe you fell for that." This wasn't some teenager either. She was 30. Yes, I told my brother. Yes, he still ended up marrying her. Almost 10 years later I still refuse to trust her. When I was 17, my parents moved the family a couple of states away. I broke up with my then girlfriend because at 17 you don't really do the long distance thing. A week after we got settled into our new house, my then ex-girlfriend called me and said that she was pregnant. It was plausible. We had going away and never seeing you again sex, but unlikely. I had worn a condom, so I believed her and rode Greyhound buses for 36 hours to go back and be with her, whatever the outcome might be. And being young and stupid, I proposed. Her parents took me in, reluctantly, which is understandable. My then ex-girlfriend and I moved into their finished basement apartment in preparation for the blessed event. A couple of weeks later, she refused to have anyone go with her to her pregnancy doctor. A week later, she didn't want to have sex for a whole week. A week or so after that, her mom started asking why she wasn't showing at all, why there were no doctor bills, etc. Then it all came out. She had been lying to get me to come back and be with her. Angry words were exchanged. We broke up. Oddly enough, her parents took my side and were super kind to me. They kicked my now ex-girlfriend upstairs to her own room for a week and let me stay in their basement while we worked things out. And when it was painfully obvious that there would be no wedding, they bought me an airline ticket home. My dad summed it up when I got home. Well, at least you got out of mowing lawns for the summer. Edit. Please don't vilify this girl. She was young and coping with the loss. Not that I consider myself much of a catch. That she didn't have the experience to deal with. She made a mistake and didn't know how to dig herself out of the hole. If anything, it was a good experience for me because I learned that learning how to break up with someone is as important as learning how to be with someone. That's something I passed on to my own kids. And I've seen it save them a lot of personal grief, or at least help them deal with it. I hold no grudge against this girl, and I was only angry at her a little while. We made up prior to my leaving and parted as friends. Your dad's hilarious. I rarely say dodged a bullet, but it seems to fit here. Killing a farmer's cow as some sick joke. The cow was not a meat cow either, it was the farmer's beloved pet and he petted and fed it and played with the friendly cow each and every day. The farmer sued the kids who killed the cow and he won $70,000 and $20,000 for emotional upset. Stay winning kings. The cow was an old bull. It was the most friendly cow I have ever seen. It was not even neutered and had really big horns and loved sitting next to the farmer and just grazed next to him. Edit. The kids did not necessarily kill the cow, but forced the old bull to walk upstairs. Cows can walk upstairs, but their anatomy is not built for it and it's extremely painful for them to do so. The old bull broke its front left leg and bellowed in pain for 10 minutes. The farmer had no choice but to shoot and kill his own pet that he has had for the last 8 years right then and there on the stairs. The kids pled not guilty in court, but they were forced to pay for it all. The bull was a Texas Longhorn, common in some areas but rare where we both lived. It was really sad to see the bull gone from the farm. I was neighbors with the farmer and he would always invite me over to play with the animals and feed them and everything. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.